everyone, Camilla here from Decodable Readers Australia. Today we're going to hone in on the concept of phonemic awareness and give you lots of tips and hints on how to maximize effective practice. Now, these types of activities will really lead your students into reading success because we know that phonemic awareness is the key to unlocking that success at reading level. So firstly, let's jump across and have a look at phonological awareness and where phonemic awareness fits. Now, this concept has been covered in our other videos, but let's jump in and have a quick look. I like to call this the funnel of phonological awareness, starting from the largest units of sentences, breaking it down into words and syllables and rhyme. Then we have the most important component called phonemic awareness. This is the understanding of individual speech sounds within words, and this is where we can maximize instruction. This is the most important component of phonological awareness, and this is where instructors need to spend the most time. Now, phonemic awareness can also be broken down into 3 different sections, from beginning all the way to advanced phonemic awareness, and this is going to be the key to maximize success with your students learning to read. So let's have a look at those key components within phonemic awareness. We have production and isolation. That's when we are producing those sounds and then isolating where those sounds are within a word, whether they're at the beginning, the middle, or the end of words. So we're isolating those individual phonemes. Next, we have the blending and segmenting. This is where we can blend sounds together to say spoken words. So s-at becomes sat. Or we start with a spoken word and segment it. That means to break it down. So we start with the word dog and we can hear d, o, g. Our next component is the advanced phonemic awareness, and that is where students are adding and deleting and manipulating sounds. We start with a word and we can interchange sounds to create new words, and we'll show you some examples very shortly. I'm going to let you in on a little secret that will absolutely maximize your instruction and ultimately result in success for your students. Now, when looking at this concept of phonemic awareness, it is important to add drills and activities, and more importantly, explicit instruction around phonemes that sit alongside your phonics introduction. So what I mean by that is having phonemic awareness activities using the sounds that you'll then use at phonics level when you introduce those letters and sounds. Now, here at Decodable Readers Australia, within our SOR toolkits, we provide all of the necessary phonemic awareness drills covering all components from beginning all the way to advanced phonemic awareness within our toolkits. And all of these drills cover the sounds that are introduced at each level. This is really going to maximize that learning time as well as reduce that cognitive load so that the students can actually pay attention to those sounds that they are then going to link in with that grapheme. So if we have a look at phoneme isolation, you can see here on our screen a sample from our level 1. This is where we are going to get students to identify and isolate beginning, end, and middle sounds. So if we have a look at those beginning sounds, there is a script within our handbook. It says, listen to the word nice and clear. What is the first sound that you hear? Then we have lots of words where the teacher can read out the word and students are identifying the beginning sound. And you can see here we start with VC words, that's vowel consonants, and then we move to CVC words. So in the beginning, we're really asking them to isolate that first sound. Then we move to end sounds and middle sounds. You've probably heard me share this strategy a few times, but it really is my go-to when working with beginner learners. It's the arm strategy, and we can isolate individual phonemes when we run a word down our arm. So for example, the word is sat, and then where I tap is where I want them to isolate. So sat, s-at. And we can isolate sounds, the beginning, the middle, and the end by rolling that word, and we can go fast when we're trying to blend, or when we're trying to segment a word, we can really stretch it out and go slow. So it's a great tool for blending and segmenting, but in particular, that phoneme isolation. All right, let's jump in and have a look at some of our other drills and examples from our SOR toolkits. The next one that we have here is called phoneme blending and segmenting. This is where we want students to hear individual phonemes and blend them together. So on our phoneme blending and segmenting drills, we have provided the teacher with a script. It says, listen to the sounds nice and clear, say the word that you hear. Then we have a range of words that the teachers can use within their drill. Now, these words contain the phonemes that students are being introduced to. So in this sample, these are our level 2 phonemes. And once again, the teacher can say those sounds and students then blend them together. So for example, g, a, gap, and have that expectation that the students will put those phonemes together, they will blend them together and say the oral word. Then when we have a look at segmenting, it's the opposite. So listen to the word nice and clear, say the sounds that you hear. And that's when a teacher will give the spoken word, still rolling it down the arm, maybe a little bit slower to really help that isolation and that segmentation of those sounds. All right, once we have blending and segmenting, which are really crucial for the reading and spelling process, the next part is what I call advanced phonemic awareness. We start off with addition and deletion. This is when we start off with a small word and we're adding an additional phoneme. So let's have a look at the script. For example, say Anne. Now say Anne with B at the start. What is my word? Ban. And you can see that words have been given to the teacher, the smaller words, and then they're adding that extra phoneme. Then we do the opposite at deletion. So you can see there we might say jam. Now say jam without the J. What word do I have? This allows students to manipulate sounds in words. This can be quite tricky, and what I really love is because these phonemic awareness drills are using sounds that are explicitly taught with the graphemes, then these activities can be done with the graphemes. You can align your phonemic awareness with your phonics teaching and maximize the impact, because the two go hand in hand while developing all the skills necessary for reading. The final advanced phonemic awareness skill is sound substitution. This skill involves students to substitute a sound. In the example shown, they start off substituting a beginning sound, that's that first sound. So for example, say jam, now change J to H. What is our new word? So they're substituting a sound at the start to create a new word. Then it moves on to substituting the last sound. So for example, say bat, now change T to D. So then they have to change bat to bad. And then finally, it's substituting that middle sound. So for example, say lick, now change it to and that's luck. Now this requires a lot of skill. It's being able to isolate those sounds, so segment those words, isolate the sound and substitute it. So this is quite tricky, but we know that research shows that this level of advanced phonemic awareness is the key to reading and writing. And that's why we need to embed these types of drills and practice into our programs. And what I love most about these drills is that we can do these at phoneme level, because the drills that are provided allow students to match up those letter sound correspondences. And that's where we can maximize our instructional time to achieve those results.